The road to the Americas is coming to an end. Why? Because technically it starts tomorrow. With Riot's official release of their trailer for the LTA and the announcement of the show match that will be happening tomorrow between Captain Flowers and Azael and 4 different players within the LTA North, it's officially time. We can wrap this all up. Now, what better way to do that than to talk about how we watch the product itself? It's a comment that I get all the time, even as I'm talking about the LCK currently on TikTok and others as they are currently live with their season. People are always asking, how do I watch the broadcast? There are always new fans to come into the esport. It's a question you actually always have to keep at the top of your mind. And the truth is now that answer's changing. Previously, I would have just told people, hey, check out the official LCS or LTA broadcast, and that's probably going to be your spot. It's live on Twitch, it's live on YouTube. Best way to watch it. Analyst desk segments are great. The casting is phenomenal. But that has changed over the years. And I don't just mean in terms of like the LTA North broadcast itself. We'll get into some of those issues here in a moment. I mean because of the rise of co-streaming and people that you watch the league alongside. Everybody knows Cadril at this point, but he has notably said that he's not going to be co-streaming the LTA North this year. It does not work with Los Ratones, the LEC, all the schedules that he has ongoing, so that, like, it's just not happening. So we have to fill out those personality shoes somehow. And while it hasn't been announced yet, the North American co-streamers we can assume that will still probably be a part of the picture are I Will Dominate, LS, Doublelift, Meteos, Sneaky, and Miss Chimchim. We'll circle back on that last one here in a minute. Co-streamers offer a unique perspective to the broadcast where they typically have some sort of input that they can give to help make the broadcast more entertaining. Some of them actually talk over like a raw feed of it, but most times they're talking over the main broadcast itself. Whenever you would go to the analyst desk segment, you're there to listen to their stories instead of what's being told on the broadcast. It does take away from some of the narrative points, at least in my opinion, because then you just solely go to like the conversations that some of the co-streamers are having, which can take away from the product a little bit. Can also be a little bit negative, but that's lightened up over the years, notably, especially as Doublelift has kind of like taken a step back. But something that the LEC has tried to push when it comes to co-streaming is that everybody that's involved with the product should be acting in the best interest of somebody else. The LEC co-streaming talent is incredibly diverse, but that's because it needs to cover many different languages, of which it very clearly does. But then for all the English speakers and some of the more repetitive ones, it's because they're representing certain orgs, including G2, Mad Lions, Koi, BDS for Zabutin. He was formerly the Optic Gaming head coach here in North America. They play into the ecosystem a little bit better than North American co-streamers do, because the names that we brought up earlier, you have Meteos that's part of Cloud9. I don't believe Sneaky is, despite most people still assuming that like he's affiliated in some way, shape, or form because it's C9 Sneaky. Doublelift, obviously Lone Ranger, Dom, Lone Ranger, LS with FlyQuest. We lack the personalities that are tied with orgs specifically when it comes to co-streaming. So it really feels like when you're tuning into a co-stream, you are tuning into a personality that you care for, not necessarily to be a fan of a particular team, which is a different route here in North America, which makes sense. We tend to clout chase a little bit more here than we do like diehard fan loyalists of teams. That's like the European football culture difference versus, you know, just American anything at this point. But one of the things that always struck me was why wouldn't some of these co-streamers go on the LCS broadcast? Why wouldn't they be a part of the main thing? Well, one, probably because Riot doesn't want to pay the rates that they would have to pay for like them to go on, because these guys actually can say, hey, I don't want to do this for free. I have other things I can do with my time. You probably got to pay me to come on. And for them, it's like, hey, if I can co-stream and do my own thing and have my own mini broadcast, why would you not? It also raises the question for the talent that's on the broadcast itself. The names that are going to be on the broadcast this year are pretty massive talents on their own. The new addition, congratulations to Kangas, who's going to be casting and doing many other things with the league. He comes in as Rafa goes out from last year, a change of which I think most of the community not necessarily expected, but I do think everybody kind of soured on Rafa and he wasn't showing some of the growth that many of us were expecting him to have. So Kangas coming in was like the next person that I really wanted to see on broadcast, and I think is deserved at this point. We'll see how he does full time in the big leagues, but the times that he did appear as a guest on the LCS broadcast, yeah, he killed it. So like I have full faith that this is going to work out, and I like his content style too. But what's interesting for me is that like none of the people on the broadcast like fully embrace being a content creator beyond what they have to. What I mean by that is like compare all of them to Shocks, who's like putting out TikTok videos and a bunch of other things, like kind of like living an influencer life alongside hosting and doing all these other things. Whereas like everybody here on the desk, by all means, some of them put out amazing League of Legends content as affiliated with Riot. But one of the things that I think all of them could be doing a little bit better is actually promoting themselves as influencers. It would help elevate the broadcast as people tune in to the main broadcast for them, in addition to like the main games and the players, because otherwise they would tune into the co-streamers. Think of it this way. People were really upset whenever Dash was removed from the Riot Games broadcast. And he had a very big following on social media, but it didn't translate to stream numbers in the way that you would think that it would. The same goes for most of the personalities here. Kadril, when he got done casting, was doing so much other content on a daily basis, which I hate to say, but I think the talent here needs to be doing as well. Unfortunately, it is like a 24/7 grind to just be in front of people and be in their eyes. That way you can either outgrow the Riot broadcast yourself and then go on to do what Kadril's doing, or notably another example, Jack Courage Dunlop, who did the same thing, cast a Call of Duty for years, would go home and immediately start pumping out content. Now look where he's at. So I do want to see the broadcast personality step up and embrace the life of an influencer just a little bit more than they currently are, beyond just like obviously tweeting about like League itself. Create a culture within the broadcast and constantly have like people doing other videos and engaging on social media, because you very much are competing with the co-streamers. And it's a pleasure to say that we're going to have Miss Chimchim here for a conversation for the last half of this video. I wanted to talk to her about her experience on the broadcast, her experience co-streaming, what she does to prep for everything, the whole 9 yards of what it's like to be a co-streamer of an esports product versus just a streaming personality, because there's more to keep in mind than just yourself when it comes to co-streaming the LTA. So without further ado, let's kick it over. When planning for an LTA co-streamer, like a league co-stream, whether it's the LCK, whatever it is, it's got to be different than a traditional stream where you're just getting on and playing. Like, what's the prep like? How is it different from one to the other?
So, well, aside from like setting up OBS, because wait, are we just talking LTA or are we talking LCK too?
It could be any co-streaming in general, really.
Okay. So besides setting up like the OBS itself, because sometimes they have, oh, you can't have certain ads or you have to have this right here. Besides setting up like that part, it's really just the flow of the game. Sometimes I like to take notes while I'm watching, because I like to do like recaps sometimes. So I have to get into the mindset of like, while I'm watching, I need to be like looking out for certain things, like, oh, that's a quick snippet that I can put into the recap. But besides that, like, I do not plan too much, because then I feel too stiff. I like my content to be very flowy, very conversational, very me in the chat or me and the viewer are watching the game together and we're like sitting on a couch and just discussing. Like, it's nothing, like, I don't like too much of a structure for my streams, so I kind of just let it all go.
That definitely leads to like the authenticity angle that a lot of people have with co-streams versus the broadcast, it seems like. Because like, I don't know, for me at least, whenever I'm tuning into a co-stream, I'm not expecting the massive bits nor like the high produced segments. It's just like, I want to see this person's thoughts in the same way that you and I would shoot the shit. And for you on a couch, for me at the bar, like, it seems like that feeling is translated quite well.
Absolutely. And I think that's what the viewers, or at least my viewers, really like, because I'm streaming to the girls, the gays, the theys, and they are not too familiar with pro play of League of Legends. So a lot of the times I'm getting asked questions like, oh, who are these people? Like, what's going on? Is this Worlds? Like, I have to go through and explain sometimes like the basics, which I love doing, because I want more people in this scene, more people to watch the pro play. And they seem to love it, because they're like, I would have never watched this tournament if it wasn't for like watching it with you, because you broke it down and you made it easy to understand and digest. And so then we just build on that, and we even get to like learn from it, because I am a lower elo streamer.
Amen to that. I know that feeling well.
Big ego, low elo, but we're learning from pro play at the very same time. So like, we're picking up on habits or certain builds and stuff. So it's pretty fun to like take it from like we're all new to this, and we're building upon that foundation.
Does that weight of like knowing that you basically are their official broadcasts Like, does that cross your mind? Does that weigh at any point?
N- n- kind of sorta, because like I want to make sure that I'm always feeding them correct information and not just like talking out of thin air or whatever. So I like to make sure that I know what I'm talking about, which helps watching every day or every week whenever the games are on, because that way I know what happened last week so I can explain what happened this week. If I skip a week, I feel like I need to go back and do my homework and catch up on like, oh, TSM lost to C9 or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting. I can't say I've ever put that much time or homework into watching. Like, okay, I will naturally do that for the teams that I care about. Like, because I have my
Mm-hmm.
inherent biases towards 100 Thieves and like and K Corp and now a T1 for the LCK. But it's like outside of that, the people on broadcast have like a inherent duty to know as much as they can about everybody, or at least like make it clear that they are specialized in one particular area. You kind of
Mm-hmm.
have to be the jack of all trades, master of none, as like the lone broadcast driver in a way.
Mm-hmm. And I don't take it like to that extent because I feel like they know everything. They know all the little stats. They have their little stat sheet. But it's more so like just knowing the basics of like, oh, Sejuani has been played for majority of the split. Or last week, all Blabber played was Nocturne and Maokai. But this week, like just knowing those little tidbits. Yes, but I don't know what teams everybody done been on. Like they be switching teams, like they be switching shoes and socks on a different day. It is too much. But I do try to keep up with like the little tidbits.
Hopefully that stops. No, doesn't stop. Obviously, it's always going to happen. It's a sport. Hopefully it calms
Yeah.
down
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
and we become more like the LCK where it's like, player signs a contract for 3 years. They're actually there for
Yeah.
3 years. That would be great and make it a lot easier.
Yeah. And like the uproar with players switching teams, like I feel like that would make it more. I get the competitiveness of it all, but like I'd really love to see a um here's my thought process on it. I'm going on a tangent. I'm so sorry, but
You're
here's my
fine.
thought process. When a player sticks to a team, it makes it easier to build a fan base. I know who's going to be there. I know who I want to support. But when they're jumping from place to place or from team to team, it makes it harder for me. It makes it harder for my viewers who are new to like, oh, wait, I thought that he was on Cloud9. Like, why is he on 100 Thieves this year? Like, I really wanted to support this player. And now they got to get their new jersey or do this and do that. And it makes it so much more confusing. But yeah, hopefully now we've got a nice streamline and we know like where people are and maybe they'll stay there for a little bit longer than jumping every split type beat.
It would also help if all the orgs remained exactly the same, barring promotion relegation, because that they can build up their own storyline is fine. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I might be biased in saying that though, so just me.
No, I get it. I get it.
So how many times have
100
you?
Thieves.
Yeah, God, I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole. Ugh. How many times have you been on broadcast so far?
Ooh. Broadcast itself, I believe it's been 3 times.
Is that
And then
including worlds where because I count the TikTok stream as an official broadcast as well.
then I have been on it 5 times because I did um I've basically done one each split since 2023 summer. And then I had Worlds in Korea where I was on that TikTok broadcast. Now I wasn't on the TikTok broadcast this past year, but I did have my broadcast TriCast
Yeah.
with yeah. So there's that. And then I also was the like LCS hype woman for LCS summer last year, which was super duper fun.
What do you think you've learned most from those experiences that help you with your co-stream?
Oh my gosh. I've learned so much, honestly. Like I feel like I've learned so much and there's still so much to learn. It's what's helped me with my co-stream. That's um concise. Like you don't have to explain every single little detail in like certain wording. Like I've learned more how to deliver the content that they want from me. So like whether that's telling a story or like how I'm interviewing or asking a question, even down to the little basics of like how I sit or how I stand has all been such a learning experience. Truly.
Interesting. It's something that not many people ever get the chance to do. So it's
Yeah.
like one of those where it's like a lot of aspiring creators, a lot of up and coming people who want to get their feet wet in the scene, they have the goal of doing what you did.
Mm.
What would your advice to them be to try and get to be where you are now?
My advice is do not change your authenticity. You need to don't fake how you are. Okay. Be yourself because people will love you for that. I felt like I was being like criticized. I would go on broad stream and say y'all. And then I would see the chat erupt and they were like, y'all. She trying to pretend like she from the South. Y'all. I'm literally from the South. And that's just in my vocabulary. So I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go to freaking speech therapy because I say y'all too much. But then I was like, no, because LCS chose me specifically. They wouldn't have invited me back multiple times if they had a problem with it. And there are people in chat, my community, there are new people coming to my community because they saw me on LCS broadcast. And they loved that I was like a breath of fresh air because I had different ideas or I did speak different or I had a different thought process. So I would say do not change who you are. If you are loud and flamboyant or if you are calm, cool and collected when you deliver the information that or content that you want to deliver. Stay true to yourself because there is a community for you and there is an audience for you. And LCS is trying, or LTA is trying to reach all audiences. So that is why you serve a purpose and they would love to hear from you, work with you, whatever. That was a really big thing that I did have to learn. And I'm really glad that I did learn because it made me love myself and my content a little bit more, but also refine and make sure that I do stay true to myself and how I put myself out there in all of my content.
I would also advise anybody that has a problem with the word y'all, go spend more than a year below the Mason Dixon line and what you'll fight it. And what will happen is the second you go back to wherever you were, y'all will become a part of your vocabulary. I was only in
Quite
North Carolina for
literally.
4 years. I didn't say it once when I was down there because I was always like hyper aware of everybody else
Mm-hmm.
saying it around me. The second we
Mm-hmm.
came back up to Pennsylvania, I was like, y'all is just so much easier than you all. I'm sorry, I'm
It's
gonna say it.
contagious.
I'm just gonna do it. And I still
Yeah.
now it's like I will never anybody that ever has a problem with that. Spend
Yeah.
any time down south, please.
And I went to Korea and I taught in Korea for like a year. And my students were like, "What is y'all? What is y'all?" I had them saying y'all for the rest of the time that I was there. Like it's just easier. It's just better.
The one I won't accept though is mature. If I hear mature anywhere, I'm gonna freak out.
My dad does say that. And yeah, I do not say mature. I say mature. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of highly personalized, I'm assuming you have your favorite teams. I know you have T1 on the mic. I've seen you beat where TL faced Decor as well. Like, what are your teams or players that like you have a preference towards?
Okay. Players, number one, JoJo. I'm gonna be a JoJo fan till the day I
Okay.
die. Oh, did I disconnect here?
No, you're good on my side.
Okay. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be a JoJo fan till the day I die. Love me some JoJo. And then I also, of course, love T1. I've recently found that I like HLE and Gen G because I love Viper, Peanut. I didn't know that I had like I gotta support Zeus. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Um,
But you don't feel like that's a betrayal to T1 fandom, to not T1 fans, like your T1 individual fandom, to then also like the two other teams that are alongside them in competition?
I don't feel bad because Like, I just like the players. Like,
Okay.
I respect them in a sense of like they are just good. Like Viper is good. Peanut is good. There was one play where Peanut was playing on the freaking vision. Like he knew where to hide in a little nook of like Baron pit so that he didn't get spotted. Like I was like, oh my gosh, you're insane. Um, let's go back to NA.
No.
For NA, I do love me some Team Liquid. I just love the whole roster. APA was my first interview when I went on LCS, and I was nervous, but he was so warm and like just willing to do whatever. I made that man dance on stage. That was
Yeah.
so fun. He was great. And he DM'd me afterwards and he was like, my friends saw the clip and they loved it. Thank you. And I was like, bro, you're freaking lit, dude. Like, thank you. Thank you for making that moment. I used to really like Boogie when he was over here. Is he still playing?
No, I think he's doing his mandatory military service now. If
Yes.
I think Cloud tweeted that out.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Who else? Who else? I like Blabber. Blabber's nice because he rocks some nocturnes sometimes. It's really sporadic. Like it's just all over the place. I like FlyQuest as well. Masu, period. Love them. Yeah.
Have you noticed then, like when you do have favorites, does that come out more on your co-stream? Like, do you notice a bump of like people like seeing your passion and then just following it ensued?
Absolutely. That is why, not that I ever talk down on players, but I try not to, well, there's certain biases I can't get around. But I try not to like, dude, I freaking hate this team. Like I try to never do anything like that because then it makes my followers and my viewers also hate certain teams. Like for example, PSG was the one exception I made because they were calling them the NA killers at Worlds. And I was like, why are they calling them that? They are not the NA killers. We're gonna defeat them or whatever. So whenever PSG was on stream, I was like, down with PSG, down with PSG. Who was it? Maple? I think it was Maple, who used to be on TSM, was tearing us up, man. That man was eating us down.
You don't have to remind me. You really don't.
He came out swinging for real. And I had to have some respect because he was good. Yeah. But I was like, down with PSG. I want everybody to just beat them into the ground. And so all of my stream don't like PSG. Sorry, PSG. But yeah, I try not to show too much bias.
See that I find interesting because it's like I'm the complete opposite. I've made it very bluntly clear. Fuck Cloud9. Okay. I still have their staff on like for videos that I've done. I just have Portillo in a video, and I like on the co-streams I will invite C9 fans to come in and we'll just blanketly shit on them like without second guessing a thing. But for me, it's like, okay, whatever we say over the course of a game or like in the course of banter leading up to it, it's just part of the fun. We'll still have when it's all said and done, we're all going to go to the same bar. We're all going to have a beer. We're going to have a great time. And like that for me, like there's a difference between like openly saying that like I despise somebody with intent and malice and saying, you know, just leaning into a rivalry basically. Like it's not hatred, so to speak. It's more of like, I don't know, respectful disdain. Is that
yeah, I get that. And I think I would have more of that if I was more emotionally invested. I think the reason why I love T1 so much is because I'm a faker. I'm a faker's bae. I can't help it. So for that reason, like I'm always like rooting for T1, right? Yeah. But like I don't have as much emotional investment into like the other teams to where I would like specifically root against another one because I'm so open to loving a new player. Like I didn't like HLE before Worlds last year, but because I saw Viper's gameplay, because I saw, well, I used to love Peanut back in the day when he was on T1, but I'm just so open to having a new stand on a new team. Yeah. And if that makes sense.
No, it does. It's a player first mentality. Like
Yeah.
I see and I get. I can't relate, but like it's a perspective that I know a lot of other people in the space have.
Mm,
So it's not foreign, even if I can't
hmm
like sit here and mentally get there.
But I love that you do have your team because there is no greater feeling than having like a sense of purpose in a team.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like you wear your jersey with pride, you know what I'm saying? And like I'll put on a FlyQuest jersey or I'll put on a T1 jersey, but I'm not like signed to them or I'm not like on that team. But like you can put on your 100 Thieves jersey and be like, yeah, I rock with 100 Thieves, you know?
yep. There's that. It's family. It's brethren. It's
Yeah.
a cult in a way, but it's our little cult that nobody else
Yeah.
can have.
It's yours, literally. Yeah.
So before we get to the last thing that I wanted to ask you, something that you said earlier made me think about it. What is something that you think the LTA broadcast could learn from you and your co-stream, especially when it comes to, you said your audience is I don't want to mess with the exactly how you said it. Uh, the the gays, the theys, and I'm forgetting one other one.
The girls, the
The
gays, the
girls, the gays,
days.
and the theys. Thank you. My wife's in the
Mhm.
theater community. I've heard that it. I know exactly the people. What do you think?
Mhm.
What do you think the broadcast could be doing more that you're leading on that front to bring in a more diverse crowd in that sense?
I think they are already making strides in this direction, but more like and Raz does this all the time, but more chat interaction. I am very chat based. Like again, we're sitting on a couch right beside each other and we're talking and we're discussing what we're seeing. More chat interaction. Sometimes Raz will go into chat while he's sitting on the couch and they're on broadcast and he's like, well, Demon Slayer 64. Da, 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 da. And I think that's a real good way because as a viewer, I'm going to be typing more because I want Raz to say my name. I want Raz to respond to my question on broadcast so everybody can hear it and they hear my username, you know? Um, Also, like in studio, like I'm always like, can I give away stuff? Like, can I throw stuff into the crowd? Because it gets hype. Like that's such a hype thing to do. And they're definitely doing that a lot more now, where they'll like have a bucket and they're throwing stuff out of the bucket and stuff. So that's super lit. And lastly, like not everybody watches every single day. So not everybody watches every single game. So not dumbing it down, but displaying like the basics or like the simple information of um like what has happened or like a quick overview, I think is really huge. And lastly, I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize
Lastly,
ever.
um I think it's really huge to this is something I always try to do. When I'm interviewing the players, I try to always ask a question for the people back at home. So, especially my low elo people. So when I was interviewing the Cloud9 coaches or when I was interviewing I forget who it was, but they played Gen Mid on
Uh,
Shopify.
Insanity.
Insanity. Yes. And I was like, tell me about this build. Like, do you think the Gen Mid is viable? Like, is this something you would recommend for people back home? What's the steps? Like that type of vibe, like giving something hand packaged and delivered to the viewers for them to like interact with, I think is huge.
Awesome. So what are you most excited for this year? What's got the juices flowing? What's got you pumped and ready?
Let's freaking go. We don't have to see Sejuani every game. We don't have to see Lucian Nami. We ain't got to see none of that. No Callista Varus. None of that. I'm so excited. And this is going to show us like who the pros really are. Because if you only got a champion pool of 2, Miss Lil Nancy over there with the champion pool of 14 is about to outclass you. And not saying that you don't deserve to be a pro, but we gonna see who the real pros are. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm excited for. And I hope the pros are ready because they might not like playing all them champs, but the viewers are about to have a time. We about to have a time watching. Oh my gosh. And we will be clowning y'all. We will.
It is
And
so
we will.
nice to have somebody else excited for this, because like I know fans obviously are, and I've seen that part of it, but I've seen so many people on like broadcast NACL being like, I don't think you're gonna like Fearless Draft when it plays out. It's like, you don't know fully what I want. Bullshit.
Yeah.
I've wanted this for such a long period of time.
Yes. No, like they could literally lock in like whatever the frick. Run Trundle ADC with Tom Kinch support. I do not care, because that's going to be such a fun lane to watch, just to see how it unfolds. Can they enact it correctly or properly? Like, and even if you lose, you still tried. Like, you still tried to do something. I remember in Worlds, I forget which team it was, but it was like 2-1 in a best of 5. And the first team had obviously been like stomping. Like, it was an obvious, like, they're going to win. But the team that was about to lose, like, did a Hail Mary, and you could tell by their team comp, was it FlyQuest?
It might have been. Was that the Nunu? The Nunu pick?
That was a series that correlates, but I think there was another team.
I don't think that was it, because FlyQuest, like, that series was kind of back and forth, and FlyQuest won game 1. So I know. Oh, which one?
Because that series went to game 5.
Yeah.
But there was another team. But even if we took the FlyQuest series, you could tell they were fighting till the very end. They were trying every which way to make the piece fit. Now, it didn't fit, but they were trying their best. And like, that was fun and entertaining to watch. It really was. And I think, what was it? HLE? I think, was it HLE or Genji? One of the Korean teams.
Against FlyQuest, or?
Yeah, against FlyQuest.
Genji, yeah.
Genji. They were scrambling when they saw the Nunu.
Yeah.
They did not know what to do. They did not know how to play against it. No. And that's the beauty. Fearless Draft. Let's get into it. I'm ready, man.
The one I can't wait to see. I know people are going to clown on him for it. That APA mid-Kled pick in the series, that game 3 that they had against FlyQuest, I don't care if it fell flat on its face. I loved it.
Yes.
I loved it. Yes, they failed the level 2, or was it level 2 or level 3? They had like a 2v1 where they came out on the wrong side of it. But it's like that 15 minutes leading up to that was so hype. And if that works out, imagine how that changes everything.
Everybody's playing it.
Yep.
Everybody's going to be playing it. And even like, I'm not saying that APA created Ziggs, but like, so many people were playing Ziggs after he showed up and showed out. And it shut up a lot of the haters. Now, I know a lot of haters came through saying that he was a one trick, but then he pulled out the A-Soul and started tearing hoes up on the A-Soul. So like, it has so much more substance. Yeah. Seeing all of these different champions, whether it fails or not, like, it's still fun to see.
Well, we're at 20 minutes. I don't want to take any more of your time because I know you're busy as is. But where can people find you during LTA matches this year?
If you want to watch LTA with me, you can come watch my stream at twitch.tv/MrsChimChim, MrsChimChim, or you can find me on TikTok. I'll also be co-streaming there.
Assuming it's still here after the 18th for those that are watching this video potentially after January 18th, but we'll find out in 5 days. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thank you for having me, though.
I do want to say a massive thank you to all of you who have tuned in for the Road to the Americas. Thank you for 5,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Amidst the chaos of TikTok getting banned, it's been one of the highlights, one of the things that's kept me happy and kept me going despite all the downsides around everything else. Thank you, everybody here on YouTube. I'm looking forward to an incredible LTA season to come. The Rendezvous and the Pit return next week. It should be fun. I cannot wait, and I'll see you on the next video.